Clients who don't pay, unfortunately this is a growing issue because of the rise of remote workers, people working for people in different countries, people working for people they've never met. It is a growing problem, unfortunately, and it's one of the main differences and challenges when you freelance. Everybody is going to encounter this at one time or another, and the problem is it has a big knock-on effect on everything else, really, in industry and in business and really in society. So normally there's going to be a set of circumstances that happen. First of all, you'll finish your job, you'll send them the invoice, and then you'll not really got a reason to communicate with them until a month later. First piece of advice, add extra money onto your service, and then say to them, if you pay within 2 weeks, I'll knock that off. And that gives you an excuse 2 weeks in to say, oh, by the way, if you pay this week, we'll knock that money off. And that is great because you're in touch with the company, you're fresh in their mind, and they know that you're not going to suddenly disappear. Unfortunately, if you've not done this and you get past a month and they haven't responded, this is the period where they'll either be saying, oh, I'm out of the office, or I'm busy, if they're communicating with you, or they might simply not communicate with you. And this is one of the things you've got to bear in mind. Always have a couple of ways to get in contact with people, always have a couple of people that you can get in touch with in the organisation, and just make sure that you're covered that if Andy is out of the office today and you can't possibly do anything, you've got someone else you can talk to, because it's likely if they're going to run out on their bill that they're just going to stop talking to you at one period. So make sure you are short, polite and firm in all of your communication with them, and as I say, make sure you try and get them in person, on the phone, and then on email, and bear in mind that anything that you're going to say might actually be used in your own court case, so you need to make it professional. After a period of silence, there might be a period of excuses, or them having a go at you or personally attacking you. They might say things like, I can't believe you'd be so unprofessional to chase me for this money, or I can't believe that you're wanting this money when I'm not happy with this all of a sudden. And your reaction will be, what? How can you say that? And you need to mask that emotion straight away. Have somebody else deal with it if you have that person available on the phone, if you know that you're going to get angry with it, and it's okay to be angry with it. Then after this period, if you've made changes, you need to judge up in your mind how much time are you willing to devote to this subject, and also make sure that you get an email that says, okay, you have said that you wanted X, Y and Z for payment to be received, which it will be received immediately after these things are done. Is that okay? And if they agree to that, then there's no real way that if you've done those things that they can't argue that. If they're just going to do a runner, make sure you ask for a deposit up front. That's one of the main pieces of advice, obviously, but that's not really the point. You have to be considering your options. Obviously, if there's a way that you can protect your work or get your work back, for web designers, apparently this is a big problem in the web design industry, you should have a plug that you can just, website's gone. And if you say to them, if you don't pay, your website's gone, normally that will motivate them. Payment on results, I think, is a brilliant thing at the moment. For instance, in my industry video, I can put a watermark over something and say, okay, we've agreed what changes need to be done. If you want it without the watermark, you need to pay me. And that way there's no excuses. But as I say, be prepared to take them to court, but what I would say in your mind is that I know it's the principle that matters, and I know that it's going to eat you up inside that this person has tried to take advantage of you, but at the end of the day, bear in mind that court is going to be a long process. It's going to take a couple of months, it's going to be stressful, you're going to be arguing with people, and you have to weigh up in your mind, is this a route that I want to go down? Am I better off just leaving and trying to get more work? It's very stressful when clients drop people, and there's a knock-on effect because the next client that you have, you'll be more defensive with, and suddenly, you're having to build in procedures to make sure that you're not going to be screwed around and left with. But the problem is that if people were more honest, and if people paid on time, then people would be able to take on much more work, everybody would be much happier. Because if you have 6 clients and none of them pay, you're liable for a lot of money. You've got a lot of money over your head that you're not going to get. And because of that, you can only take on 3 clients because you can only afford that. So what I would say is, clients who run out on you, there's a lot of them, they are a lot of money, there are lots of organisations out there that can help you. Freelancers aren't protected as much as clients are, unfortunately, for some reason. If you do a bad job for a client, they can they can, you know, nail you to the wall on Yelp, and they can disrecommend you, but there's not much you can do. So just try and be professional, deal with it in a responsible way, get people in, and if you feel the need, take them to court.